Hi, I'm glad you're here. So, today we're going to go through a kind of reflection journey together. We'll have the opportunity to journal together. So, I'll give you questions, prompts, and then give you time to write down or at least contemplate an answer. And then, of course, pause the video wherever you need. And I think it would be a video you can revisit as you go deeper into your healing journey or just discovering more about yourself. Um, this would be a good one to kind of revisit at certain points where you've discovered something new and answer the questions from that new awareness. They're like a deeper level of understanding each time. Um, and I will share my responses to most, if not all, of these. So we're going through it together. And then another note, this is just a space you don't have to perform um, or kind of mask how you're actually feeling. Just meet yourself where you are. Try and be as non judgmental as possible. Give yourself as much grace as possible. Um, and reflect to the degree that you can today in this moment, and that's enough. And just know that is enough. So, to begin, I want to take a few deep breaths, as many as you feel fit for you in this moment. I'm going to start by bringing awareness to my belly and my heart. I like to put a hand on each. And then you can close your eyes or soften your gaze a little bit so you're just kind of going, maybe you're busy with things and you've been thinking a lot. And so we're just kind of softening that space in your head and kind of becoming more aware of our body. So as we do that, we can take a deep breath as our belly expands. You can exhale through the mouth if that's comfortable. Feel the rise and fall of your chest, and then more importantly, the expansion of your belly. So you know that breath is going all the way to your belly, and then all the way back up at your chest, up your throat, and out of your mouth. Some clearing breaths. And then just to ground even more, if you can kind of sense the bottom of your feet, your toes, what they're touching, how they're feeling. Right now, the sun is kind of thinking about setting where I am, so I'm kind of feeling the warmth coming in from that, and the difference between right here is a little cooler, and then my body's a little warmer right here because of the sunlight coming in. So I'm just beginning to feel more aware of my body, and the thoughts just seem to naturally slow when I do that. My pace has even slowed. So, the goal of this self reflection time, this journaling, any reflection that you can do, is about bringing us further into ourselves and removing what either no longer belongs, is ready to go, or at least bringing an awareness, kind of shining a light, beginning to it's like maybe an attic or a basement or some kind of space like that where maybe doesn't see much light, and you're just kind of pulling the blinds open to a little area. So no pressure to move through anything exceptionally deep today, but just an opportunity to meet yourself where you are, and reach a new level of awareness of yourself. So as we do that, if you don't have anything to write with, get that now. Try and give yourself a space, decent opportunity to focus on this right now. Focus on you. Give yourself that time. So if that means shutting a door, getting some paper ready, and then we can begin. Before I ask the first question, we've grounded our bodies, and now I want us to kind of zoom out a little bit. My body naturally takes a deep breath. I'm just going to kind of picture myself like here, So it's almost like you're watching a movie of yourself and you're just separating, we're not going off crazy into space. We're just kind of right here, zooming out just to get a little bit of a bigger perspective on ourselves, an opportunity to give ourselves more space and grace, less judgment, less in the body, just that tight space. So we're just kind of zooming out, and it similar to that deep breath, how that grounded us and calmed us, centered us, bringing more clarity. This is kind of the same thing, just kind of a little bit of stretching back, zooming out, larger perspective, more grace, and that'll help us flow through these questions. All right, first question. So from this space, what would you say to yourself? What would you say to this person that you're seeing with more grace than you usually give yourself because you've kind of zoomed out? What would you say to this person? And just take a moment, write down whatever comes. There might be feelings that are coming up. Maybe you're beginning to be aware of some feelings from earlier in the day, and you're just letting those settle now that you're giving yourself some time and space to breathe. Things might come up. So just take a moment, meet yourself where you are, and with as much grace as you can, answer the question, what would you say to this person that you're kind of gazing down at? Maybe they're dealing with a really particularly hard day, or people that are really making them feel misunderstood. It could be a number of things. Or you want to celebrate them. I'm going to say for my reply that I am proud of myself for coming here to meet you where you are and meet myself where I am. I'm also very, very grateful. So I'm feeling a combination of pride and gratitude. All right, feel free to pause if you need more time, but I'm going to transition to question 2. So, and that little bit of distance we just found, we're going to hold on to that. The next question can bring up some maybe old habits of judgment. So we're just going to try and keep answering them in that same gentle, zoomed out, kind of larger perspective place. So question 2, where in your life are you still trying to earn something that was never meant to be earned in the first place? This could be love, rest, belonging. Where in your life are you still trying to earn something? For me, I think this is it's a combination. I mean, it's like a permission piece. Sometimes I've had a pattern of seeking external validation instead of my own internal. And in that kind of pattern, I would find myself seeking permission just to be myself. And while that's still a practice, that's something that's still come up that reminds me that I'm not being completely myself, or I'm seeking outside support to learn who I am, when really that will come from within. But other people can show us parts of ourselves sometimes. So there is nuance to this, but that's something that has been a pattern and can still come up from time to time, particularly during stressful moments, things like that. All right, and again, if you need more time, just pause the video. Take as much time as you need. So transitioning into question 3, sometimes what this brings up, like something that this, the thing that we are maybe trying to earn still, goes back to a story or early childhood unmet needs, adult unmet needs. It can come from a lot of places. I'm going to say it could go into ancestral things that are coming down. So, like, how I want to word that is sometimes we carry things that our ancestors have been carrying and they're just passed down to us. Sometimes we're not even aware of these things. So it could be something like that. It can come from many things. So it could be something that you started believing about yourself a long time ago and just kind of never went back to check on, or just was underlying the whole time. So question 3 is, what's a story you've told about yourself that you've told you about yourself for years, at least a few years? So it has to be something kind of that would be a recurring story that, if you're really honest with yourself, doesn't feel quite true anymore. For me, the story that I thought was truth for so long into my 20s and 30s was that I was meant to be like the helper, the number 2, the because I was so good at being that kind of second, just never first, never putting myself first, because I always thought, because I was so good at kind of that self-abandonment, just going, I thought was going with the flow, being very easy to get along with, it was pretty easy for me to do that. And little did I know it was building resentment. I wasn't even aware of this resentment and anger underneath. And that was all my own responsibility. I wasn't aware that I actually had a really an opinion on what I wanted to do, where I wanted to eat, what I wanted to do. Like, so it was an underlying thing. I had to really take time like this, like reflection, to learn that. And then release that and say, no, that's actually not my story. I can be the main character in my movie. Just like we're zooming out, I'm watching the main character in the movie, which is me, you in your life. It's not the person next to you, or, we're all in charge of our lives in that way. And yeah, that was the one that I held for years that I no longer carry, for sure. So transitioning to question 4, we're going to kind of shift away from the stories that we've inherited, knowingly or unknowingly, or people have like put on us through expectations. And we're going to kind of turn toward the moments that are actually fully our own. So question 4 is, when was the last time you did something just because you wanted to, with no one else's expectations attached? And this one I am very good at from lots of practice. I just ordered food at one of my favorite restaurants just because I wanted to. Picked it up, had it for dinner. It was amazing, very delightful. Yeah. But I do that one a lot. And no judgment if this is something that you're realizing it's been a long time. I see you. This is quite typical. So we're just kind of meeting ourselves where we are, giving ourselves as much grace as we can right here, right now. And, as you revisit this and do this journaling and reflection more and more, you'll see how things change. So transitioning to question 5, we've been thinking about things we're holding on to, potential patterns, things that aren't us, and learning what is us. So we're going to think of a version of you from a few years ago. You can do like 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, someone you, or even as a child too, someone you had to be just to kind of get through a period in your life, particularly tough time in your life. What would it feel like to finally set them down? So for this one, I want us to kind of, as we're in our body, we've kind of gone from our head. We're still thinking, but we're in our body and aware of who we are in this moment, our sensations that are coming up. So going back to a time when maybe it was particularly hard relationship, or if it was childhood, maybe a hard time at home. It could be just as simple as, if we don't want to go super hard today, whatever your capacity is, respect that. And it could be just, like, for example, for me, I would say there were times when I would kind of give up on a tough conversation, or just, kind of bury it or push it under the rug or anything, just to my tendency to avoid a hard conversation, because I didn't feel I had the capacity to go through a hard conversation if I didn't know how the other person was going to respond, or if I had to kind of armor up in case that person was going to hurt me or something like that. And that's no fault of that other person necessarily, but more of like my expectations and assumptions about them. So I wasn't willing to face, or I didn't have the capacity at that time to face a difficult conversation and the assumptions I made of what would come from that. So thinking about that time, I built up that tendency, that tool to avoid, and just kind of moved along. And it wasn't like those emotions weren't there anymore. They were just still sitting in my body. So thinking about a time where you had to use a tool to get through a harder time in your life, or just maybe something that happened the other day and isn't so heavy right now. Thinking about in our body, I'm just going to scoot back because the sun is very bright on my face. Thinking about letting them down. So this is no pressure to actually release anything, actually go into anything really hard right now. If you're at a spot today where your capacity is just kind of low, you're just trying to meet yourself where you are, just a very gentle reflection, absolutely do that. Stay with something gentle, and then just pretend or imagine that you can just drop something. And I'm just picturing it like, the image that comes to mind is kind of that weightlifting move where you have two heavy weights and it's just called like the suitcase or something. And you can just picture two suitcases in your hands and you're just dropping them. Or you can picture like an attic full of like old yearbooks, or a basement full of old yearbooks, and they're just burning and just flashing, and they just disappear and it's just ash. Or like a big cleansing wave of water can be washed over you and all those old emotions and old tools, old skills that are just holding yourself back from being you, that are no longer appropriate for you in this time in your life. Let those wash away. As the water goes by, it's taking all that stuff with you. So just think about, and you can go through that kind of body experience, doing one of those visualizations, whichever one feels right for you right now. Or you can journal about it and just write down words, images, just some knowings, anything that you're feeling right now, or seeing, or hearing, and write those down. Just jot them, a few down, so you know, or have an idea of what it would feel like to finally set those down, those old tools that you just don't need anymore because you just don't need them anymore. No longer need to carry them. Can feel a release from that. A lot of you are ready to let a lot of stuff go. That's what it felt like to me. So transitioning into question 6, we're gonna come back to the present moment. We're gonna we were kind of digging in some stories and some past versions of self. We're gonna kind of zoom up to present moment. And question 6 is, if no one in your life ever commented on your choices again, what would you do differently? This question gives me, I feel like I can stand up or sit up straighter. I feel like I can feel lighter. I'm not thinking about the past and the kind of heaviness that can come with that. And reflecting can sometimes feel heavy. I don't think it has to, but I think it can. But this question makes me feel like light and bright and like I'm moving forward, like leaning forward, like, ooh, what would I do differently if no one ever commented on my choices again? Like, and me really leaning into that means like, oh, where am I actually, like, so question 6 part B is like, why does that feel so light for me? That would be the question that I would ask myself, because I'm realizing as I ask that it really changed my energy. If no one in my life ever commented on my choices again, what would I do differently? And I'm like excited about it. So I'm like, oh, where in my life am I putting too much weight on what other people say to me about what I'm doing? Like, because I don't like that. I don't like the idea of that. Why do people's, or specific people's comments, is there someone specific who comments on my choices that I either don't like, or don't, it's creating more weight, or maybe just more thinking. Maybe it's not even like a negative comment or anything. They're very supportive, but it makes you think more about others when you're making a choice. I don't know, that's where my mind goes. So anyway, question 6 for you is just, if no one in your life ever commented on your choice again, what would you do differently? And then, of course, pause, do as many questions of yourself as you want that are related to that, based on how you and your body responded to that question, like I did. So transitioning into question 7, after all the like potential releasing you've done, I feel like my body can feel that the viewers have done that in this time and place. I can already feel that did cause a lot of releasing. So good job. So those old stories, old identities, old expectations being put on us. We're going to kind of name for question 7 what's left. What is us? So as we let go of who we're not, what's one word, feeling, knowing, sound, anything that describes who's left, that describes you after all those things? What's left? What's you? And again, use any, it could be a drawing that came to mind, a sound, a color, anything that comes. No limits on that answer. It's all about you. All right, so wherever you landed today, whatever word or feeling came up for you, I want you to know that it's worth holding on to. This exercise was a valuable message to yourself that you are worth it. You are worth taking time for. You are worth reflecting on, learning more about, and getting closer to. And you don't have to have it all figured out. We are always meeting ourselves where we are in this moment. There's no other way to do it. We have to meet ourselves where we are, go from where we are. And I'm proud of you for taking the time to ask these questions of yourself, to reflect, to think really carefully, and to gain a stronger sense of clarity about who you are and who you're not. And you might, in the next few days, see opportunities for those versions of you that you've released, they might want to come back. You might see other people making assumptions about you or having expectations that you've already dropped. So it's an opportunity to kind of shine through, show people who you are. And that might be a little bit of a different version, a little bit of a stretch for other people to learn who you are now. And that's really exciting. That's really cool. An opportunity for you to be like, wait, that's not me. And saying it out loud is such a valuable lesson for everyone, such a ripple effect. You can take that with you and just say, you know what? I would have responded that way and I almost did again. But like with dinner, it's like someone says, do you want this or this? And you're like, I don't care. This would be an example for me. And then I'd be like, wait. I would have said, I don't care yesterday. But now I know that I have to just check in with my body. Actually, I want that and I don't want that. This sounds better for my body tonight, I can tell. And that knowing and that explaining out loud is such a ripple effect for other people to see, that you're embodying that thoughtfulness and that new clarity about you. It's just like so juicy. I love it. So thank you so much for doing that. Thank yourself. Give yourself a pat on the back, a round of applause, whatever you need to keep going. And if this was meaningful for you, I'd love to hear what came up in the comments. If you're willing to share, I would love to hear that. And then if you feel you would benefit from more individualized support, please use the link below. I'll put the link for my website. You can book a one-on-one session with me where we can go deeper, clearing patterns. It could be ancestral patterns, Akashic records, a lot of opportunity to get deeper into who you are and that knowing. And then you can also just check the website for any upcoming workshops, events that feel aligned for you. So I'll see you next time. Thank you.